Hey there guys, welcome back for another video. So we've got two things going on in today's video. First up, we are going to be opening and inspecting, just out of curiosity, all these fake watches. Yes, these are actual fake watches. I got these all from the wife of the original owner who back in the day, these are a good couple decades old at least, back in the day did a lot of business in China. And for whatever reasons, brought back a lot of these, probably just for fun, even though a lot of these look like they were worn quite a bit, but they're all confirmed fakes. Some things make it obvious, we'll go through it, and I just want to pop them open before I chuck them, just to see what's inside. After that, I'm going to show you everything that's coming up over the next few months on the channel, some projects I'm really looking forward to, and what is in store. So first up, let's just take a look at what we got here. We've got a fake Cartier, Tag, Omega, Seiko, and I don't know if it's pronounced Rado or Rado, but purportedly another luxury Swiss maker. So let's take them just out of convenience, right to left here. So we got this Cartier. Now, one thing I did notice, some of these have something in common. This one doesn't, but you'll notice it in a bit. Construction-wise, you know what? If you're unfamiliar with watches or these brands or models specifically, I can completely see these fooling tourists, especially. They're not at a surface level terrible at all, especially I can imagine them in brand new condition, all polished up and shiny. These are completely full of DNA, by the way, so I'm wearing gloves because I'm not cleaning these, not wasting any material or time doing that. So we're just gonna get through this and then into the garbage they go. But looking at this, the hands are fake blued. They're that bright iridescent blue paint, you know, dead giveaway. I've seen a real dial like this where it's a wave pattern, but the real one is actual depth. It has a 3D pattern on the dial itself and it'll shimmer when you give it a tilt like this. This is just flat printed. It looks nice when you look at it straight on and it looks like it has that 3D effect, but it doesn't. It doesn't move. The crown is this weird nut shaped with a fake jewel in the set there. And you know, I'd say that it was a giveaway that all these screws weren't even, but I see that on $50,000 watches. Blows me away that, you know, you don't get things even like that in a even luxury watch. But anyway, that's that. So we've got a whole bunch of flathead screws on the rear cover. Let me see if this one's small enough. Gotta be tight. If any of these are super tight, I'm not going to risk a screwdriver tip. Man, this may be seized in there. Some of these do have evidence of corrosion. So it is possible that if these are cheap steel, they actually are corroded in place. And this is not even beginning to budge. Ooh, that one popped. Yeah, there's definitely some corrosion on there. Oh yeah, I see it coming out. It's all over the screw head. But this actually takes me to what I was just gonna say. I have another video coming up. I'm in the prototyping stages now of actually setting it up and doing some testing. And I'm waiting to hear back from one of my contacts at a company. But I might have a legitimately usable $50 alternative setup to a microscope. Like one you can actually use and work with and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, it's a little early. I'll have a video on that as soon as I can get something working to show you. So I do see a bunch of this white corrosion, but it popped pretty easily. Nothing I'd worry about the screwdriver on that one. This one, however, no, that is not going. I'm actually twisting the screwdriver shaft a bit. So unfortunately, I don't think that one is gonna be able to open up. I want to see what's inside it, but it's not worth a screwdriver tip. So bummer. Screw that one, and you can see more evidence of just plain rust So that's the quality of metal we're working with. Next up, we have this fake DeVille. I'll tell you what, I am a huge, huge vintage Omega fan, especially DeVilles. Not this particular one or this particular style, even if it were real, but I'll give you a hint here. Here's a real vintage Omega coming up. That one is gonna be my last project because it's gonna be one I'm going to wear because I absolutely love it, but it's gonna need a full restoration. This guy here, super thin, I'll give it that. And of course, all of these are quartz. Here's the thing I was saying that is a dead giveaway and something that's very common. This is almost like a reverse sticker. It's like if you had the adhesive on a sticker, peeled it off and it left the adhesive, that's what this is. The white is what's applied to the metal. Number one, it's crooked. Number two, it's off center. 3, the fonts are wrong. And 4, you'll find this on a variety of these fakes. So kind of a dead giveaway there. But this guy here looks like a snap case. Let's see what's inside here. I'm just curious if there's anything branded inside, if it's just some generic no-name movement or what. I have no idea what goes into these, especially being quartz. I mean, they say quartz, so it's not like anyone would expect it to be a mechanical watch or anything. We've got a Malam battery. Never heard of that branding. It very well may be very common. I just haven't heard of it. And it says no jewels, just a generic battery number. Let's see, can we get this out at all? Just looking for how that would go in or out. Don't really know. Never seen this. I don't even know if we want to call it a movement before. Just seeing if anything moves here or not. Let's take the screw off and just see what happens. Should be something keeping that stem in. Or not. Well, not really worth my time to go any further. I was just curious, but it looks like it's just pure electric motor. Nothing special there. I wasn't expecting an electromechanical or anything, but that's what's in that. Next up, what do we got here? This is a Seiko, just a Seiko quartz. What does that say on the bottom? Japan something or other? You know, one thing that's interesting, these have really nice looking dials. I mean, there's nothing obviously wrong, like the font extra thick in one spot or another, with the exception of this tag. I'll show you some things that are obvious there. But if you compare it to even the rip-off brands like Pagani Design, you look at some of those indices and they're just not printed right. These all look nice and detailed. So that's interesting. Now on the back here, I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, but that's crooked, the printing. It's slightly tilted to the right, as is the printing down here on this bracelet part, whatever it is. Part of the clasp, I guess, it broke. And a really off shade of gold. I mean, it's that kind of yellow tinted gold, like even worse than 14 karat. Maybe it's 10. It's, you know, it's just an off shade for what real gold is supposed to be. Almost looks like my bar tool here. Wow, really does. As opposed to actual. Doesn't have that artificial yellow. So let's snap this off. However, this comes off. There are no screws. Looking for any kind of slot. Wow, there is a lot of schmutz in there. I think it's here and it's just caked in stuff. I don't want to break my knife either. There's no obvious tab sticking out. And I don't see a slot, unless it's just actually packed, which it may be. And I don't want to cut myself. Again, I'm not risking a tool, just out of curiosity to see what's in these things. All right, that is definitely the slot. That is just so caked with schmutz. And it does not want to open. Again, it may be corrosion. Okay. That's kind of pissing me off. I want to get it open now just because I don't want to give up, but that is just a bad design. Almost pops. Yeah, just not worth taking the risk there on the tool. So anyway, that's two that I'm not going to open. Let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at this guy here. Diastar, I assume that's a model. We got some fake diamonds in there at 12, 9, and 3. Feels good. This one I would say looks the best, maybe because it's the one least all scraped and scratched up, but it is all scraped and scratched up anyway. We've got a decent butterfly clasp on it. It's still cheap and stamped and wouldn't be anything that you would get at this level of watch, but it's at least a step above the others. Let's go ahead and get the back off. Come on. Pin doesn't want to come out. There we go. All right, so we got that really ugly sticker glue looking back again. We got some screws on this back, thankfully. I wonder if some of these screws would fit the two I have missing on my Pagani design that were stripped out, the heads. Threads are still good. These look a little short though, but you never know. I'll have to try a few of these. Pull one of the good ones out and compare them, because that would be an easy, nice little fix for that. At least peace of mind. And inside here, yeah, same thing. Just a basic quartz Renata Swiss-made battery, it says. All right, last up, we've got this guy here. Now the first giveaway is this model doesn't actually exist. Not exactly as it looks, at least. So this was definitely worn for quite a long time. Not only DNA and gunk, but lots of use scratches all over the place, inside and out. Somebody really liked this watch. So we've got a couple hands that have fallen off. One pusher stuck, tons of scratches all over the case. The crown barely comes out, but we can set the time. During that period of time when you had these chunky rounded links, I was never a fan of that style. I know a lot of people are. I think they still make stuff like this. Again, a stamped, good looking when it's closed clasp, but inside, total bargain basement. Let's go ahead and look at the inside of this guy. Let's see, what's the easiest way to open you up? That is not a spring pin. Man, that almost looks riveted. I have not seen that before. It does actually look like these are mushroomed to close. Interesting. Well, this looks like a spring pin. There we go. And it broke. And we got the good old normal back on this guy. Let's try the ball first. Nope. He is tight together, so get out the tool. Not worrying about scratches on this one. All right, inside here, got a larger battery, a whole bunch of other capacitors. And this says, where'd my loop go? Here it is. Got a bunch of writing in here, barely on the metal. Says, boy, that is hard to read just because it's so thin. Oh, weird. It's actually, it looks either old school laser printed or maybe stamped. It's just a whole bunch of series of dots, like an old dot matrix printer. I just need to get it in the right light to see it. It says Morioka Tokening. Toke Inc. Tokai Inc. 10 joules, Japan. VD55A, a down arrow, AC, and the number 2. So obviously a Japanese quartz movement. A little more money into this one, that's for sure. Interesting. Okay. Well, those are some varying qualities of some Chinese fakes. Now let's look at the good stuff. Okay, starting off, we got this guy here. This is going to be the first one I'm going to do, and it needs everything. Inside and out, we're going to do a full restoration. And I'll tell you why I'm starting with this one. Because I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, especially inside. I know it. I'm confident about what I've done so far, but there's so much I've not yet even practiced. So when I make mistakes, parts are going to be cheap and plentiful. This is a, I'm guessing 90s, early 2000s at the most, low to mid-level Seiko. It is of the huge, chunky, and heavy time frame. This thing is a freaking monster. We've got 22 lugs, a 24 band, to give you a hint. And this is even large and heavy on me. I've got 7.5 inch wrists, and it's too big for me. So just looking at this here, wide, we've got a 45 mil case. We've got 50 lug to lug. It's freaking huge. And we've got 14 thick. And this thing is solid. Everything here is high quality and solid. The bracelet is heavy. The case is heavy, but it's very nice looking. It's got this sunburst dial. You can see when it's not in the direct camera lights here, it's got that shimmer. And it changes color depending on how you look at it. I think it's gorgeous. Unfortunately, my eyes are going right to all the defects. But I just know that when this thing is back to new condition, I think it's going to be a total winner. Now we've got a ton of scratches. One is especially deep. I'm a little worried about it. I may have to replace the crystal, which is not a big deal, but I'd rather try and fix it if I can. But it catches my fingernail. It's kind of hard to see. It's this one right here. My fear is it's actually a crack because there is some distortion looking through the center of it. I don't know if you guys are going to pick it up, but I don't know. It's either just a hairline crack or just a really deep scratch. but there's lots of little ones all around it. The dial looks pristine. The dial looks amazing. It's very 3D. It has depth to the parts. I like the hands. The day and date are nice and clean and lined up. It's a half runner, however. It stops and starts when it wants to. So there's definitely something wrong on the inside. I can sometimes move the crown and sometimes it'll start up. Sometimes tapping it'll go. It was running just a minute ago. But anyway, there's something mechanically wrong. So it's going to have a full service. I'm going to, even though I don't want to use it, fully restore and polish, not by hand, but actually the right way and fully, this brushed and polished surfaces on the band, bracelet. They're solid links, hardly any slop. It's quiet, it's comfy, it's a non-arm puller. We've got a beautiful looking back on it, basic movement, but you know what? I mean, this is going to be something I'd actually want to wear, probably with a leather strap, but something I definitely want to check out. So that's going to be first up on the project list. It's going to take me days, if not weeks, to finish it. So it'll be a multi-part, but I'm looking forward to it. So that's first on the agenda. Now for the rest of these, I know which one I'm going to end with. What's in the middle, kind of up in the air. So I'm just going to show you guys what I got. This is a vintage Alfred Dunhill. It's called the Facet. Luckily, this crystal is in really good shape because it's pretty unique, and I'm not sure about fixing it. Replacing it would just be getting another donor watch, but we've got 3 distinct angles to it. Looks really cool. As far as I can tell, it's a non-runner. There's no resistance to winding it. It's a mechanical, not an automatic. I think there's probably something stuck, broken, or missing on the inside. On the back, we've got 4 tiny little screws and the appropriate engraving. Age-wise, I'm not exactly sure because this was produced over a wide number of years with very slight differences I've seen to the dial, but generally 30s or 40s is what I'm thinking just from preliminary research on this. So definitely looking forward to doing this one. Not something I would wear, but very cool looking. Next up, we've got something very interesting. Now, all my research is telling me that this is somewhere right around World War II vintage. I see a lot of similar ones for sale, but the dials are all different. The names are different. The only branding this has is JLW. Down at the bottom it says anti-magnetic. I really dig this dial. Almost every one I see on sites or for sale is just a lighter, general, plain field watch looking dial. And usually they have a small second dial as opposed to this central one, and this one is red. I think it looks really cool. It's got some kind of French connection and probably a Swiss automatic on the inside. Basically, it's just telling you that it's stainless steel and waterproof, or water resistant at least, on the back there, although I wouldn't trust anything. It appears to be plated brass, and there is significant metal damage. We have lugs that are actually broken. This one has like some kind of cotter pin broken off in it. So not something that I'll be wearing, but something that I will definitely be servicing just for fun. And I know it'll look a lot better once we get this acrylic polished and do what we can with the case. Maybe I'll figure something else out to do to attach some kind of strap without that one end of the lug. I don't know. Not worth putting money into as far as welding or anything like that, but something cool to do. Next up, another really cool looking watch. This is one I will definitely also be wearing. This is in surprisingly good condition, except for a few noticeable spots. It's a Waltham. It says chrome plated top, stainless steel back, and the plating is in really good shape. Somebody either took care of it or didn't wear it all that much. We've got the normal use scratches and things like that, but we don't have a ton of corner damage. We don't have anything broken. And we just have a lot of normal scuffs that are going to polish out very easily. Tons of DNA. Somebody at least wore it for a good period sometime in its history, but I haven't opened it up at all. Tons of just little tiny micro scratches on this. Nothing really deep. Definitely an easy one that's going to be to bring back to normal. But man, this dial is what sells it. It has a texture to it. It's almost like a linen paper. It's in a central sunburst pattern, but it's almost pearlescent. There you can kind of see it on the camera, how it shimmers. And it goes between this like champagne and light gray. It just looks fantastic. And then the red on both that Waltham symbol and the arrow is almost a candy. More so on the symbol than the arrow. But it's got some depth and some gloss to it. It just says 17 joules, self-winding, shock resistant on here. It at least moves the rotor. I haven't actually done this to see if it's a runner or not yet. I was just looking at it cosmetically. Hey, look at that. It actually runs. But we're going to do a full service on this one too. I have no doubt it's not running very well. Got a little bit of corrosion on the crown of some sort. But hey, throw a good strap on this after a full restore. Oh yeah. That is a sweet looking project. So looking forward to doing that one. This one I am not looking forward to. Not at all. Now this one very well may be gold. I think I would see it stamped on the inside of the cover what it actually is. But it is a vintage Hamilton ladies dress watch. And it is freaking tiny. It is smaller than my thumbnail. Yeah. So this is a tiny, tiny movement. I have watched some videos of very similar models being gone through. It's a very simple movement. It is just extremely hard to work on because everything is just miniaturized. Absolutely ridiculously small. So I know what's in store for me. I'm just not looking forward to it. And we got this cool clamp type clasp here. Everything is in phenomenal shape overall. We've got a lot of damage to the acrylic, but nothing really deep. It's just really scuffed, and you get it in the right spot, and you can see the quality of the dial and the indices in the hands, and they look flawless. But it is hard to see past that acrylic because it is just totally cloudy. The sides are clear, so I mean it has promise, but it's just been scuffed way, way, way too much. But I think it would be pretty easy to bring this back into brand new looking condition, at least externally. Last but not least, at least this is what's planned. I do have some more stuff as well. This one is one that I'm super excited to get done because I look forward to wearing it. I'm not sure what I'm exactly going to do with it yet. I have kind of a couple ideas in my head. We have either a 1978 or 1979 Omega automatic. As far as I know, that's just what the model is called, automatic. It's not a Seamaster, it's not a DeVille. To my knowledge, this does not have any kind of water resistance. It is an automatic with hand winding and sort of runs. It's one of those that likes to stop sometimes. But we do have some click action going on. I thought I saw it just start to move. There we go. You give it a little shaky shake and it goes, but it stops. We've got a date. I mean, this fits my criteria for wanting to wear a watch, except for the color. It appears to be, again, plated. This is definitely not gold. We have what I can only assume are either just wear marks of this plating coming off in certain spots, or maybe heat marks from someone trying to polish it. To me, they look like heat marks, but I'm not familiar with this plating and what does this type of rainbow discoloration. Just in my experience with other metal work, it says heat. So maybe somebody just got overzealous, especially since it's in the flat areas. You know, like they took a Dremel to this area here, because it's got this ring around where the crown is, where it may have stayed cooler. I don't know, just guessing. Now the crown, I'm not sure if it's original or not. The finish is slightly different, and there's no Omega symbol on it. I don't have the spec sheets for this. I don't have original photos of this. So I don't know if this one had the Omega symbol on the crown, but many others of this time period I see in this very similar style did. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's not an original crown. The band, the bracelet is not. It is labeled Speedle USA. It's one of these old man stretchy jobs. I remember both my grandparents wore watches with these types of stretchy bands, and I forgot they existed until I got this and I saw this, and it just brought back the memories. I hadn't seen one since I was a little kid. So that's pretty cool. But it's absolutely disgustingly filthy. I would never wear one even if it were clean. So that is coming off. You can see the finish on the stretch band here is more gold color than whatever plating this is. Again, it's that almost brassy colored. But it is stainless steel, so it is going to be able to do something. And my idea is just polish all this plating off, sand it off and polish it, and just keep it natural silver stainless steel. I think that would look fantastic. I wish the indices and the hands were also silver, but I think that will still look 10 times better than having this color case, even if it were in perfect shape. I'm just not a gold fan at all. But I can deal with the gold indices and hands with a stainless steel case, because that's still going to look cool. But the dial color is just fantastic. It just looks shimmery, and it's flat, but it does have some depth to it because the Omega symbol is applied, the indices are applied, that frame around the date is applied, and it just has this nice classic clean look to it. And I dig that in a dress watch, but I love dates. I know I like the purity of the dress watch, but I have to have a date. So that ticks my boxes there. Now I know the date on the manufacturer because the back is engraved, 1979, 25-year service, and a gentleman's name, and what I'm assuming is a life insurance company. So that kind of dates when it was manufactured. Again, I'll know the details after I get it open. This is very common to see this type of watch, especially in that period, given for anniversaries, especially with work. And I find when I was looking for details on this model, I would find very similar ones, tons of them with all kinds of similar inscriptions. So this one I'm going to wait because I don't want to screw it up inside. So I'm going to wait to do this service as my last one, even though it's not the most complex one here. Certainly should have plenty of room to do it inside. I just want to make sure that I don't goof this one if at all possible. So that's my plan. That's what I got going on. Got a lot of cool stuff going on here. And like I said, I got I'll have something, plan A or plan B, about a $50-ish workable microscope type product for everyone that is interested in one very soon, within hopefully a few days. We'll see. But that's what's going on. See you guys next time.